It may have been a small group, but it certainly was a mighty one outside Burlington MPP Jane McKenna's office, as a group of healthcare workers have come to demand that the provincial government repeal Bill 124. Now, for those who don't know, Bill 124 in simplistic terms essentially limits the wage increase of healthcare workers across Ontario, including those in this protest, all of who've said it's unfair, unjust, and one healthcare worker here at the protest in particular says it's even sexist.
Our occupation is 80% women, female-dominated occupation. And guess what? Fire, police, male-dominant occupations, they're not governed under Bill 124. What is this again? We are meant to sacrifice.
Sharon Richer of CUPE's Ontario Council of Hospital Unions is calling on the Burlington MPP and Associate Minister of Children and Women's Issues to stand up for the female healthcare workers and repeal Bill 124. At a rally in front of Jane McKenna's office in Burlington on March 16th, Richer says this bill puts a bigger gap between women's wages versus men's, which is disappointing.
This bill is sexist. Hospital workers are predominantly female. Clearly, the Conservative government made a bill that would only allow us to bargain up to a 1% wage increase. And so what does it tell healthcare workers? It tells healthcare workers that this government doesn't care about them as much as they care about male-dominant jobs.
Bill 124 was passed in 2019, with CUPE's healthcare workers fighting it ever since. In a press release, CUPE says rising inflation is going to hit their mostly female workforce with a more than 4% wage cut this year. Richer says this is not how the province should be treating our pandemic heroines.
Healthcare workers are leaving in droves because they've given up so much over this time. A single mother couldn't speak to her children, for the last 2 years because they're speaking through a door because they're afraid to bring home the virus. And now these women are broken. They've held hands of, Ontario members who have died because their families couldn't come in. They sat with them and held their hand. They have been had to tell loved ones, I'm sorry, but you can't come in and visit your family members. They were the family of their patients when their families couldn't be there. And now to be told, guess what? You can only bargain a 1% wage increase. We can't bargain any kind of health benefits for these people that are suffering post-traumatic stress, that might need somebody to talk to. It is downright shameful what we're doing to these people.
Burlington wasn't the only stop in Halton. The protesters then moved on to Milton, where they rallied in front of MPP Parm Gill's office. It won't be the last time this group protests, as there are further rallies scheduled in front of our local hospitals in the coming weeks, and they say they are going to continue to protest until Election Day on June the 2nd. For Halton News in Burlington, I'm Melissa Candelaria.